So the first one is called The Town That Didn't Stare. And this is a podcast by Nick Hilton and Poddock Pods. And this is about the small Sussex town of East Grinstead, not somewhere I knew much about. But it turns out that it's kind of the epicentre of a load of alternative religions in the UK. So the Scientologists have got a big house there. That's one of the most sacred places in their religion. The first Mormon temple in Britain was built there. And there's also a thing called the Guinea Pig Club, which is a radical medical programme to reintegrate burns victims with society. So there's all sorts of different things going on in this town. It's a really fascinating 6-part documentary. It's quite mysterious, but it's really, really hooks you in. And we're just going to listen to a quick clip now.
As you approach East Grinstead on the B2110, hemmed in on all sides by verdant foliage that forms a leafy tunnel into the town, the first thing you might notice, other than an adjustment to the speed limit to a mere 40-mile-per-hour canter, is a brown sign that says St Hill Manor. Below that, you'd see the National Trust symbol next to the word Standard. That's Philip Webb's Arts and Crafts House, now open to the public, which Niklaus Pevsner describes as wonderfully relaxed. And you'd be forgiven for assuming that St Hill Manor is in much the same vein. A Sussex stately home where you can probably take cream tea on the lawn before picking up an overpriced postcard for Granny. Except that's not what St Hill is. St Hill is a sacred site. St Hill is where they experimented to find out if tomatoes have feelings. St Hill was the home of a religion's prophet. St Hill is one of the world's premier finishing schools for fundamentalists. For Britain, and for East Grinstead, St Hill is the home of Scientology.
I really like Nick's approach, which is that he's not taking the mick out of his town so much. He's kind of mocking it gently, but with the sort of affection that you can only have if you are from a place. And he's just really curious about all of these different religions and things going on in the town, as opposed to saying, oh, look, isn't this weird and awful? He's just saying, this is strange, what's going on here? And then you find out more. So I think it's really nicely produced, and it's a really great approach that brings out so many fascinating different stories.
I think wherever we grew up, we always think it's really weird. Just because you sort of always, as a kid, you feel like you're an outsider, and you feel as if the community is not keeping up with your ways. And what I like about Nick is sort of the slow emphasis of, no, it really is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. You know, where I grew up is really a little bit stranger. But it's also the case that if you are passing in any vehicle, you wouldn't know about any of these places. And he starts with a really good opener about the Scientology episode. A place where L. Ron Hubbard, who is the leader, basically set up his base, but also where there's been a very big association with where Tom Cruise has stayed whenever he's been in the UK, because he is a open Scientologist. So it's sort of peeling back the layers of something that you might not really have thought about.
It's not all about Scientology. Like I said, there's a few other different things going on in the town as well. And it is very different from anything you will have heard before about it. It's not trying to do here's a big expose on what Scientology is doing. It's more saying, what is it about East Grinstead that brought everybody to this small Sussex town? Why here? And there's also a thing about how there's ley lines, apparently, that kind of spiritual thing where people feel energy in the land. You'll have to listen to the episode to find out more. So it's great. It brings all these things together, and it's exactly the sort of thing that I have wanted to listen to at the minute, because it's kind of nothing to do with the current situation. It's just a real look at something very curious and different. So that's The Town That Didn't Stare by Nick Hilton. There are a few episodes out now. There's more to come, but you can find that wherever you get your podcasts.